So yesterday we touched on this whole Xbox Game Pass price hike situation, a topic which I feel very passionate about due to the fact that it's as simple as I'm personally affected, right? I love Xbox Game Pass. I feel like as far as my journey through gaming, Game Pass has really allowed me to kind of like, I guess you could say like, for lack of better words, expand my taste, right? With the access to so many titles, almost like a full library at your collection, right? I just loved it. I felt like it was a great value, but now the Xbox Game Pass is gonna run you about 30 bucks a month. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm actually strongly considering canceling the service. Well, it looks like today we actually have some new developments, which I wanted to touch on. This actually comes from The Verge, somebody by the name of Tom Warren, which he's reporting that Xbox apparently is testing out some type of new cloud gaming service, which will be supported by ads, right? So the cool thing about it, absolutely free, just to watch a few little ads or something like that. I would say not too crazy or anything, but according to the article, they're saying like around 2 minutes of ads, which again would only give you about an hour of a gaming session. Of course, this isn't just the testing phases right now. So can you imagine like being in the middle of a game and then like some big ad just like pops up out of nowhere? Like that would be absolutely crazy, which I know we're kind of used to watching ads, or like people used to call them commercials on cable TV, which they were nothing new to that, right? We've always been watching commercials for years now, but with the introduction of streaming services and ads and everything, I feel like, it just came to a place where like ads were just something of the past, like an inconvenience. And the way I've been spoiled is like, I'd rather just enjoy some no ads involved at all. But then again, like we're over here on YouTube where most people are watching with ads and everything. So I guess some ads wouldn't be too bad, but it just depends on like where they place the ads, right? Like let's say you were in the middle of like a gaming session and you just got through like a little round of Call of Duty or something like that. Maybe after you were done playing through a round, maybe they could throw in the ad, but I just feel like the timing kind of throws you off when you're gaming. Like gaming, as far as like a source of media, seems to be a lot more engaging, right? Than say compared to like if you're watching a TV show where they could just play it's like a little ad where there's like an abrupt moment. But as far as gaming, ads, this is kind of crazy. But then again, this is just something they're testing, a free service, which is cool or whatever. We'll see how things play out. But again, this is all subject to change. Now, as far as Game Pass, we did learn some key details of why Microsoft claims that they're actually going to be expanding the price, bringing that joint up to 30 bucks, which I'm still mad about, right? So according to this report by Bloomberg, it does say that as far as the price hikes, Xbox, they actually gave up $300 million in sales of the Call of Duty title on console and PC last year, according to one of their former employees, as putting the game on the streaming service cut into sales of higher margin games, which that's pretty interesting, right? We're talking about Call of Duty, I think it was Black Ops 6, which we saw drop last fall, right ahead of the holiday season, right? I thought by Xbox bringing Call of Duty over to the service, like that was an incredible value. I was actually somebody that used to play Call of Duty, back in the day, like in college and stuff like that. But since then, haven't really kept up with the game. But by them bringing it back on the Game Pass, like I was like no brainer. Played Call of Duty for a couple of months until I got bored of it or whatever. So as far as that acquisition, apparently Microsoft is like, yo, we lost around $300 million in sales, Game Pass price hikes. Let's go ahead and put it on the consumers, right? So when you talk about Microsoft acquiring these major studios, some kind of head scratchers, they did acquire Bethesda Studios for $7.5 billion, which I thought that was a cool move. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of great titles, a good studio over there. But by them acquiring Activision Blizzard, the people, of course, behind the mega blockbuster hit Call of Duty, that's where some questions, popped up, because as far as the acquisition right here, you guys see it right here. This is according to Microsoft themselves. Bro, they paid cash almost $70 billion. Like nobody told y'all to go out here paying $70 billion just to acquire Call of Duty, which we all know that as far as developing each new Call of Duty game, which pops out, like every 2 years or something like that, they're probably spending like billions of dollars in that just alone. And then again, for them to acquire the studio for $70 billion, nobody told y'all to do that. And as far as these price hikes, from 15 to 17 bucks now to $30 a month for Game Pass, it seems like Microsoft is like, yo, maybe we might have spent a little bit too much money in this situation. And as far as Game Pass, due to the fact that pretty much the majority of people that own an Xbox, I feel like if you're buying an Xbox in 2025, you're buying it for Game Pass, and they feel like, you know what? let's just go ahead and make the customer base pay for it. So I just feel like it's putting a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. As I mentioned, I'm considering canceling my subscription. I love Game Pass. I might have to run through a few more games in the catalog, through the library, before I go ahead and cancel things. But I would say heading into 2026, it might be the end of days for me in Game Pass, and I think a lot of people would agree. And before we bounce, on top of all of this, right, customers are already mad about things, but it seems like some people are also noticing here. This is a report coming from PureXbox.com. They're saying that Xbox is ditching a majority of its Game Pass DLC discounts as part of the service revamp. So this is not too cool. I mean, it's not affecting people on a large scale, right? We're talking about small discounts, maybe 10% off, for subscribers for, say, like the new latest DLC, which they're using, for example, the latest Indiana Jones game with the Order of Giants DLC. So for me, this isn't like anything crazy. Like, this is not going to make me want to cancel my service or anything like that, but it just piles on to what's happening. And the fact that Xbox kind of like is just sneakily doing this behind the scenes without really mentioning it, again, it's just kind of like not a good look for Xbox. So on top of this, piling up with the price of Game Pass increases, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm kind of looking at alternates, ways to enjoy the hobby of gaming. Right now, I've been kind of going back on older titles, catching up on my backlog, enjoying some retro titles as well. So maybe it's just a thing of like, I could still have fun without this whole Game Pass library, but we'll see how things play. But as of right now, it's looking like Game Pass, it might not be in my future. So let me know what you guys think down below. JA Gaming, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. If you guys enjoyed the content, consider subscribing down below. This is a brand new channel, which we're going to be doing a lot of big things over here. So I appreciate you guys. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Love.